Is it okay for me to record?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Uh, Fantastic. Okay, so I guess firstly, just tell me a little bit about Fair Farm. Like, what is it that you guys do out in Pleq?
Yeah, sure. Like, but before that, could you
Yep.
introduce yourself a little bit so I just know the background, so I know more like how I should respond? Because are you like from a magazine, a newspaper, or are you
Oh,
doing the research on uni like at the university? Yeah.
sorry, man. Yeah, okay. So I run a website. It's called the-shiv. Basically, it's just for like foreign investors that are sort of doing business in Southeast Asia, mainly Vietnam. So yeah, that's basically who it's for. Just sort of looking at yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I can
So,
explain to you that
sorry.
what we're doing. So yeah. So my name is Hao. I'm actually born and raised in Germany, but I live now in Vietnam since 11 years, and since 4 years, I'm fully focused on Fair Farm. So we invested into the farms. We have 12 hectares, and we started with durian, but then switched really quickly over to coffee. And then from commodity coffee, we switched over to specialty coffee in the last 2 years. So, and the main reason is because commodity coffee, as the word already says, it's a commodity which is internationally traded and has the
Sure.
London price. And we are then depending on the London price. So, which means every day from Monday to Friday, you can look up the price of Robusta. So Vietnam is producing 95% Robusta, 5% Arabica,
Sure.
and most of the coffee is actually commodity coffee. I don't know. Are you familiar with the words commodity and the
Sure.
quality differences? Yes. So we realized quickly the margin in commodity is really low.
Mm.
And for example, in the beginning of the season, the price was at 125,000 Vietnam dong per kilo, and it dropped recently down to 80 something. Um, but when we are in the season of coffee harvest and production, we buy in from the neighbors for that price, which means we have our cost and we calculate with that price. So when the price is dropping, they do minus, full stop. Like, yeah, that's what happened. And even though the quality didn't went down, and I think
Sure.
that's one of the main issues. Like, we know exactly, as producers like us, we do processing, we do farming, but also processing. We also buy in from other farmers. We know the price, the official price. We buy in for X amount of per kilo as cherries. We gonna process it, we dry it, and in the end we have the raw green beans, and we know our costs. So that's why a commodity coffee is for us so ridiculous, because it went down in value even though it's still the same product.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and we could store the green beans up to 1.5 years in the right conditions. So that's why a lot of people are holding back the green beans in their storage if they are not in need of the money. So whoever is now releasing coffee from their storage, they are doing minus compared to beginning of the season.
Sure. And so my understanding is a lot of the price decline recently is because of expectations of a big crop in Brazil. Is that correct?
Yes, so there are two different things. Like the expectation of Brazil, we had 2 years ago the highest price ever because Brazil had a misharvest, so they had the big drought, and that's why the prices went up. I think 145,000 was like the record price, and now we're lying at 80 to 84,000 Vietnam dong. Another part is like the Iran war with the Hormuz. The transport costs, they were rising, um, and also the transport timing. So usually from here, for example, to Hamburg, they calculate with 4 weeks. So they said they extended it up to 6 weeks, um, which means it makes it even more complicated to sell roasted beans. That's a big thing. So with specialty coffee, for example, we say after roasting 6 months, you should consume it. If the transport and the logistics takes already 6 to 8 weeks, it makes it difficult to sell these products.
Right. So it's more the time
Yeah.
that's impacting it than the cost necessarily.
Both, because now that the cost went up and the time is expanding, a lot of the roasteries, they say, um, we already signed our contracts with our clients with the fixed price. Now the transport cost went up and the timing, which means our profit is going to go down,
Sure.
because we cannot ask more from our clients because we have fixed contracts. So
Right.
they rather say, in the hope that the the hummus will open up again, we will not place the orders now. And the London price is related to the orders they were placed in.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, keep
so they're
going.
holding, so they're holding these back. So, but on a certain point, they have to place the orders, because if
Right.
this crisis is going to stretch even longer, on a certain point, they have to fulfill their contracts with their clients. So that's why we also expect the prices going up a little bit more. But if it stretches too much and we hit Brazilian harvest season, so it will probably balance itself in, which is at the moment happening. So for sure, we cannot predict everything, but that's what I kind of personally analyze. Is like, okay, this is now get stuck at 84 because Brazil is getting in, even though we can start exporting now because of the ceasefire.
Right. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear on what you're saying, right? You're saying that people are holding off on buying coffee, therefore the price is falling because there is less demand, and they're waiting until something happens in the Middle East, or hoping that
Yeah,
it ends, and presumably because they want to sign another fixed contract. But obviously, you don't want to sign it now when your shipping costs are really
yeah.
high. Is that correct?
Actually, they already have the fixed contract. So they
Sure.
signed them already a year ago. So now they have to fulfill it. But some of them, they still have coffee in their storage, or they can postpone their fulfillment contract. But there is a limited time. There's like, okay, the deadline, let's say in
Yeah.
2 months, is that, so I have to place the order now. But if I can still stretch it, maybe I should stretch it now because the transport costs are too high. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the end consumer pays those transport costs, right? The buyer.
Not if they have the fixed contracts. So if the roastery, normally they sign a contract for a year. So before the
Okay.
season starts, so let's say I'm the roaster, you have the coffee shop. So
Sure.
I sign a contract with you with the fixed price. So if the cost of the transport goes up, I have to pay it, not you.
Right. Okay.
My profit goes down. For you, it still stays the same. And then for the next season, I realized, shit, that price doesn't fit anymore. I will raise the prices. You
Hmm.
have to raise your prices then as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. And so, I mean, you guys, you're working on fixed contracts, and like you said, your focus is specialty coffee, right? As opposed to,
Yes, so that's why we are not related. We're not directly bond and affected to the war. Only a little bit because of the transport, because we decide ourselves how much worth our coffee is. So we are not making our price related to the London commodity
yeah.
price. So we produce our coffee. We say, look, is this standard of quality. We have 83 points at the competition. We are asking now for 200,000 Vietnam dong per kilo. We can negotiate a little bit if you take a higher amount, and we offer them the roasteries. Look, we can help you with logistics. At the moment, this is the price. If you agree on it, fine. If not, we keep the coffee. Yeah,
Okay, and so what about like more local farmers that are more
they are
focused on,
all yeah, they all do commodity. They all do commodity.
and how are they sort of coping with?
They are screwed. They're fucked. Yeah. To be honest, they that's the truth. Like I mean,
Yeah.
some are so the people actually who were in need of money in the beginning of the season, they are laughing now. They're still like, I sold it at 122, 125, and the people who are holding in the hope that it will go up from 125 to 145, they're screwed now because now it's only 82, 84,000. And then you have the people, they still have the coffee from the season before. So now we have the coffee of 25, 26, and there's still people from 24, 25. They're still holding on that coffee
Okay.
because, yeah, it was so high and then it slowly went down, down and further. So they don't want to sell because they know I bought it maybe for 130. If I sell it now for 84, I have a big loss. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big hit. Hey, I wonder if like fertilizer prices. Then I was looking at your website. I think yours is all organic. Is that?
We do sustainability and
Yeah.
regenerative and with
Okay.
fair trade practices. So we still use partly chemical fertilizers, mainly to keep our farm, our orchard in sync, because we don't want the trees, especially our durian trees and fruit trees, to be out of sync. So the worst thing what can happen is kind of if one tree already has fruits ready to harvest and the other tree is in flower season. Um, so that's why we use some chemical fertilizers,
Sure.
phosphorus, to keep them in sync. But the fertilizer, that's a huge thing issue now. So the oil gas prices went up.
Yeah.
Fertilizer prices, chemical fertilizer prices went up by 30 to 40%,
Right.
um, which also means farmers, their production cost is going to go up. Now, two options. First, the farmers earn less because they signed the contracts already. Same
Hmm.
problem with the roasteries. And they earn less or make a minus because they have to fulfill their contracts. Option two is the product prices are going up. So that's why we are working now since beginning of the year on the new sustainable program. So we try to reduce the chemical fertilizers and replace them with organic fertilizer in a more sustainable way, in combination with black soldier flies, azolas, like cover crops who are living in symbiose with some fungi and bacteria to pull the nutrients from the atmosphere into the soil. So that's what you can do, but that's probably a different topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like that's probably unique to you guys, not the general for most people, is it? Or
It should be because that's a huge topic because since the 60s, the chemical fertilizers got introduced, and that's the conventional agriculture, which is now completely based on chemical fertilizers, relying on chemical fertilizers, because they are destroying the microorganisms in the soil. So, and if you destroy the microorganisms in the soil, your plants are depending on chemical fertilizers. They are like the fast food for the trees.
sure.
um, because in your soil you have nutritions, but the trees cannot pull it up because they're too big. So the
Okay.
let's say the nitrogen chain is too big, so you need the microorganisms to break them down, but they cannot because your soil is not alive, and that's why you need the chemical fertilizers
Right.
as fast food. Yes, and if we can reduce the chemical fertilizers, we make the soil alive again. We are not depending on chemical fertilizers anymore. We can reduce our costs
Sure.
and could sell cheaper, and we're more compatible if we do commodity coffee. Yeah.
Sure. Are your chemical fertilizers mostly imported? or locally?
So Vietnam is producing, but most of it is still imported, a lot from
Right.
China, the US, and Europe. Um, I made actually a small research because I always went to the shops and said I want to buy Vietnamese one because I want to have a lower CO2 footprint because the transport is shorter.
Sure.
But then I made the research and it came out that if I would buy it from Europe, it has the lowest CO2 footprint because they
Mm,
use more renewable energy. And
okay.
Vietnam is mainly on coal, so in the end, it's still better to buy from Europe.
Yeah, it
Have
swings
a
and
ship.
roundabouts, right?
Yeah, crazy. Yes.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine. Okay, man, cool. Look, that's plenty for me for what I'm working on. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Anything you think
Um,
I've missed?
about the coffee, I mean, we are always fighting for trying to introduce more sustainable sourced coffee, like direct trade. So it would be always amazing if you could kind of implement that because the coffee price we're talking about, which is mainly now affected, is about the commodity. Most of the Vietnamese coffee is sent to big collection centers for Nestle, Unilever, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Illy, Lavazza. Um, and that's what where we try to get away from, try to sensibilize people to buy more sustainable coffee. But I know that you're more writing for investors, and in the future, we are having less and less Arabica, and we're gonna have more Robusta and probably Liberica, and maybe that's a keyword for you because that's the most sustainable future coffee species because they can withstand higher temperatures, they're more resilient, and Arabica is absolutely not. So if you write for investors, they should maybe look into Robusta and Liberica to invest for the future.
Liberica. Okay, is that something that is becoming common in Vietnam or
We are
like
growing
Liberica?
95% is Robusta and Liberica is
Sure.
now coming. And they're starting having competitions. We went on competitions as well. And now people in Indonesia, they start planting only Liberica farms.
Okay.
They are commercialized, not common because it's hard to take care of them. They need minimum 2 meter 20 of height before you can harvest them, before they get flowers. So it's a pain in the ass. But if you get more and more different varieties, maybe it can get improved. You can maybe go in with machines, etc., etc. Yeah, because they can live below 1,000 meters, still are really resilient to high temperatures above 35 degrees, droughts, and too much water. So actually, all the problems we're facing now with Arabica,
Hmm.
Liberica could fix it. Right? So maybe that's the topic where you could write for the future investment in coffee. Yeah.
Sure. Would I have tried it anywhere? Like, what are they using Liberica for? Is it like instant coffee or is it like specialty coffee or?
No, so it's at the moment still specialty because it
Sure.
needs a lot of work to do. But because there's so little knowledge about it, so the
Yeah.
roasteries they don't have the market yet for it. So it needs to get more and more popular. But the flavor profile is really close. It's closer to Arabica than to Robusta, and that's why it makes it really interesting.
Sure.
Um, yeah, if you have the chance, if you go to a specialty coffee shop, I don't know where you are now living, if you can ask for Liberica, if they have it, you
Okay.
could try that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool, cool. I will keep that in mind. Awesome. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much. And can I read it somewhere? Can you send me the link, something like that?
Yeah, sure. I'll send you the link once it's all written up. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Just curious. I don't know. I lived in Vietnam for a long time. I worked on a project down in Ha Tinh. It was called HEPA. Are you familiar? Sorry,
Uh,
they're like what do they call it? Like organic farming, kind of like under the forest canopy, sustainable, all
mhm.
that sort of stuff. I don't know, just what you're
Yeah.
talking about doing. It sounds like something they might have been involved in, but
So like their agroforestry, you could do that. Like
yeah, that's what I
you
was looking
try
for.
to create, yeah. So they try to recreate a forest. So you have the top layer, middle one,
Yeah,
and the lower one. Um, totally believe in that. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, you
But what are
create
the
your own
crops?
yeah. We could grow, for example, the higher ones could be, let's say, durians or like any trees which are growing high. Then you can have your coffees in between, and then you can have the lower ones, um, legumes. You can have smaller plants,
Yeah,
bushes, lime trees. You can even plant vanilla in between. So
yeah,
it's really interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
So you lived in Hading?
No, I lived in Hanoi, but I worked for an NGO. They actually work with did land rights in, I don't know, all over. But part of their sort of business model was a ecotourism thing in
Mm-hmm.
Hating. This lady, she got this bunch of land given to her back in the 70s, and it was a mess, right on the border with Laos. And so she spent, I don't know, she spent years cleaning it up and fixing it. They've turned it into this like beautiful like rainforest, and they put in these old I think they're the old Thai houses, like the ethnic minority Thai
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah,
stilt houses. And like, so
yeah.
I spent a few days there a couple of times. I was helping them with like a marketing project. But one of the crops they grew was coffee, as part of their
Ah,
agroforestry thing. And they do like seminars and stuff. And so that's why I thought maybe you
yeah.
might have been
What is
involved
the
with them.
name of it?
It's called HEPA for short, HEPA. I can't remember what
H
it's
E
PA,
HAPA?
HEPA
HEPA.
in
Wait,
Hutting.
let's. Okay, okay, okay. Right,
Human
okay. Let me.
ecology something.
Yeah, eco farming school. They have the HEPA, and in Hard. And yeah, I saw it. They have the Facebook profile. Okay, I will have a look into that. That sounds interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like kind of in your field of,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
expertise.
Great.
But anyway,
Cool. Yeah.
cool.
Thank you
All
very
right, man.
much for your
Thank
time,
you so
and
much for your
hope
time.
to hear from you then. All right.
All right, no
Okay.
worries.
Have a
Cheers,
nice
mate.
day.
Bye.